Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. What a day we have had already. A blockbuster trade happened this morning between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins. Minkah Fitzpatrick now back to the Miami Dolphins, where it all started for him in his NFL career, returning, or should I say coming to the Steelers. Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, two outstanding pickups today by Omar Khan. Unfortunately, it came at the price of losing star safety Minkah Fitzpatrick. But we are going to talk more about what happened in that trade here this morning, and also talk about any new developments there. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates at an absolute whooping of the New York Mets, over the weekend. They just absolutely bludgeoned them game after game in their 3-game series. And we will recap what the Pittsburgh Penguins did in the NHL draft. They made 13 selections. We will also talk about what they are expected to do starting tomorrow with the first day of NHL free agency, which I will be live for. Hope you guys join me back here then. First thing is first, if you are new here, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, feel free to like and share this live stream and comment in the live section if you haven't done so already. Had great numbers this morning for the breaking news that of Jalen Ramsey coming to the Steelers and Minkah Fitzpatrick going to Miami. Jonnu Smith also now a Pittsburgh Steeler. Going to real quick get my my banners in order real quick. There's one of them right there. All right, let's get right into it. More details today, ladies and gentlemen. The Pittsburgh Steelers completing a trade this morning. They have acquired Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith from the Miami Dolphins in exchange for Minkah Fitzpatrick. There is also a late round pick swap as a part of the deal. Just going to recap what all happened for those of you who might not have been on here this morning, or if you happen to be living under a rock and this is your first time hearing about it. But yes, Ramsey, Smith, and a 7th round pick in 2027 to the Steelers, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and a 2027 5th round pick going to Miami in this deal. Also, there's a little bit of extra money shuffling as a part of this trade. Jalen Ramsey, he will get a $1.5 million pay raise as a part of his $22.6 million salary. The rest of his contract, $69 million of it, that runs through the 2028 season. Also, upon coming to Pittsburgh, Jonnu Smith, who currently has 2 years at $16 million remaining on his current contract, he got an additional year and $12 million extended onto that. So it was made official, by the way, 3 hours ago. The Steelers, usually they take like a day or so to, get word out that they have officially made this trade. Nope, they got it done today. Ramsey, Smith, and a 7th to Pittsburgh for Fitzpatrick and a 5th. Now we are going to get into some of the newer information that we have learned since this morning. First, this is still absolutely crazy, this trade that happened. One of the more insane trades that I have seen, not just for the Steelers, but for the NFL as a whole. Rarely do you see two players of this caliber, Fitzpatrick and Ramsey, get swapped in this fashion. It was basically a one-of-one trade, the Jonnu Smith trade, and a late-round pick swap. That was added on the end of it there, like a couple minutes after the fact. But this was an individual trade by itself, Fitzpatrick for Ramsey. And like I said, it's rare you see two players of this caliber get swapped one-of-one, both 3-time All-Pros. Jordan Schultz from, I think, formerly of The Athletic. I think he might have, or formerly of Fox News. I think he might have departed from there. Anyways, he put out there, since 2017, only 2 defensive backs have been named first-team All-Pro 3 times. That is Jalen Ramsey and Minkah Fitzpatrick. Insane that those two got swapped. Also insane that this trade for the Steelers happened in general, because the Steelers, growing up, during the Kevin Colbert days, you didn't see anything like this. You barely saw any risks taken. It was always draft and develop. That's how the Steelers did business. Complete and total new age for Steelers football. I think it's clear. It is win now by any means necessary. The Steelers' moves this offseason have proved it. Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Darius Slay, them going real heavy on defensive line in the draft. And now this, adding Jalen Ramsey. Of course, you detract Minkah Fitzpatrick, but bringing in Jalen Ramsey, an absolute all-in move by Omar Khan and company. Some updates on some new information that we have received following this trade. The Miami Dolphins, they are just not getting Jalen Ramsey's entire salary off the books. $26.6 million, excuse me. That is what Jalen Ramsey will make this year. $7 million of that will be paid by the Miami Dolphins. That bit of information announced by Ian Rappaport. The Dolphins will be sending $7 million to the Steelers to pay a portion of Jalen Ramsey's contract this season. So the Steelers, they will be paying just under $20 million for a corner who I think still has a lot of good football left in him. Since 2022, this from PFF, Jalen Ramsey, an 85.4 PFF grade. That is 6th amongst all corners. A 91.4 run defense grade. That is 1st among all corners. And 9 interceptions, tied for 4th in the league since 2022. Also, I think last year, people were saying he's washed. I think he was 16th in the league out of, 180 corners last year, how he graded out according to PFF. Take PFF for, what you will, especially, because of us Steelers fans. We always, take PFF for their word when they say something great about our guys and completely trash on them when they say that our guys are doing bad most of the time. But that there from PFF, Jalen Ramsey still playing some damn good football. Now onto the other side of this trade, sending Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Miami Dolphins. We did hear two things as to why the Steelers may have gotten rid of Minkah. This first here from Ray Fittipaldo. He is the main sports writer for 93.7 The Fan. He was on the radio, on their radio show this afternoon, saying that there were clearly communication and chemistry issues among the Steelers defense last year. We can always see, up until the snap, even after the snap, sometimes Steelers defenders, especially secondary members, yelling at each other, telling them, no, you take this guy, whatever the case may be. Minkah Fitzpatrick, a part of that. He was one of the signal callers out there. He hears what's going on. And, that led to some of the big plays against the Steelers. So some communication issues. That's a part of why Minkah Fitzpatrick was sent back down south. Another reason here, this one probably the most likely, the biggest reason why Fitzpatrick was traded away. Mark Kaboly, Steelers correspondent for the Pat McAfee show, said that the Steelers didn't have any plans of re-signing Minkah Fitzpatrick after the season. Fitzpatrick, he plays this year, and then Fitzpatrick, 2 years left on his contract, would have played through this year. Then he would be in a career year next year. I think this is the Steelers, Kaboly saying that they weren't going to re-sign Minkah. If that's the case, sure, you're losing a pretty solid starter on your defense for this year. But also, the Steelers, they are going to save themselves a world of trouble by not going through this whole drama-filled, negotiation-filled offseason, kind of like what they're going through with TJ Watt right now, where, Watt hasn't shown up to anything. He's awaiting a new contract. Steelers, I think this was them getting rid of Minkah. They're not going to go through it. Why would they, go through it if they're not going to re-sign him? Why just have the headache of Minkah holding out, Minkah hold it in, all that, when you're just going to run him into the ground on the last year of his contract and let him show the door? Why not just get back something for him now? You lose his production for a year, but at least you get something back and you save yourself a whole bunch of drama. Also, not 100% certain that Fitzpatrick would be on the team after this upcoming season anyways. If, say, he has another down season where he only gets one or none interceptions, Steelers, they might just bite the bullet on the last year of his contract and release him. And then you're getting nothing that way as well. So with Fitzpatrick gone, Steelers at least getting something. They weren't going to re-sign him anyways. And also they can now have a fresh start on the back end of that defense. New voices. Lots of guys can get, start building some chemistry. Hopefully there aren't any other broken coverages this year as there were last year. But I will be nice. I did not state this as much as I wanted to earlier today for the live stream of the, breaking trade news. Minkah, thank you for all you did. Aside from the past couple of seasons where things were up and down with you, and honestly, it's not entirely your fault either because Steelers, they misused you a bit, I believe. Still, though, hell of a career with the Steelers. 6 total seasons, 88 games played, 18 interceptions, over 500 touchdowns, 3 pick sixes, 43 pass breakups. Those stats, pretty damn good for a 6-year run with the team. Also, Minkah, consummate professional on and off the field, embodied what it meant to be a Steeler here for many, many years. He will be missed. Unfortunately, it was just time. Steelers, they are in win now mode, and to get an all-pro corner over an all-pro safety, I think you're going to pick the corner over the safety, 9 times out of 10. Also, this case, Steelers, they got Jonnu Smith back as well. They brought him in with Jalen Ramsey. You're getting 2 players instead of 1 in this deal, and all it cost you was, a late pick swap. So 2 players going to be worth more than 1 in almost any trade scenario. And also, back to whether you would have the corner or safety thing, it is much easier to mask a average or below average safety group than it is to do so at corner. Jalen Ramsey comes in, solidifies the Steelers' corner group into a damn good one. Meanwhile, back at safety, you have Deshaun Elliott, you have Juan Thornhill there. I think you can live with those guys at least until you bring in a Band-Aid like a Justin Simmons, Marcus Williams, Julian Blackmon, Jordan Whitehead. I went over the free agent safeties out there on the market this morning. I think you can be able to live with those two guys starting for half the season until something else changes, and have strong corners. You'll be able to survive much better that way instead of just having Joey Porter Jr., who's looking to have a bounce back season, and a 34-year-old Darius Slay, and nothing behind those guys with safeties back there that are good but aren't going to be involved in every single play. 7 of you in here right now. I apologize. I have my cell phone right here getting some breaking hockey news, not related to the Penguins at all, but 2 massive hockey stories just broke. Maybe I will talk about them here in a little bit. But back to the trade this morning. I like it. Could I love it? Maybe. Depends on it. Sure, we lose Minka. That's me speaking with my heart, not my head here, because of the past couple of seasons. But yeah, I don't really see a mega win for the Steelers in this case. I also don't see this being a bad move either. I like it. Don't necessarily love it yet, but I like it. The only real loser today just so happens to be my closet, because now that Minka Fitzpatrick jersey right there gets to join all the other jerseys of Steelers past, now gone. George Pickens, Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris, Kenny Pickett, Antonio Brown. So Minka, he gets to join that group. James Conner as well. But you know what? I will take the trade. It was a good one, in my opinion. So I think it's good for both sides here. But Steelers, much stronger corner group. You can survive with a average to mediocre safety group for now. Some other things, reactions to the trade from the players themselves, people who work for the Steelers. Of course, Ramsey, he kind of broke the news himself, posted a 46-second long video, hyping him up joining the Steelers. Also, Jonnu Smith, he has since made his voice heard on the trade, saying God always do it in the best way. So he's happy to be coming to Pittsburgh. I'm sure a reunion with Arthur Smith and that offensive system will be a very warm welcome for him. Going to some players and their reactions, Deshaun Elliott, kind of mixed feelings on him. He did just lose his starting safety partner, his partner in crime. He posted after the trade this morning, "Happy 5, Jalen Ramsey is a Steeler. But boy, I'm going to miss my partner in crime. Both potential gold jackets. Respect the game. This stuff is a business at the end of the day." So Elliott, happy that he's going to play with another legend of the game, but he loses one in the process. Probably one of his best friends on the team. Same thing here from Patrick Queen. Sort of giving a soft-hearted send-off to Minka Fitzpatrick. Only got 1 year with you, 39, but your approach to be the best every day was definitely contagious. Best of luck in Miami. Queen giving him a good farewell. On to some people who are happy about the trade. Wide receiver coach Zach Azzani reposting Jalen Ramsey's welcome video, saying welcome to the Berg. Juan Thornhill, he posted as well. He's happy. Pat Fryermuth said he's pumped that Jonnu Smith is joining the team. So I think an overall positive reaction to this trade. You're going to have a good bit of Steelers fans upset that Minka Fitzpatrick went. You can be upset about it if you want, but also you can accept that this was a good trade and that a change of scenery for all parties in this sense was pretty much needed. going to move on here now. Another piece of today is that TJ Watt, he's also come up in a bunch of discussions as well. After the trade, many people are saying, oh, is this money freed up now for TJ Watt, or is Watt going to see, hey, they just got rid of one of my favorite guys, I want out of here now? Lots of people are asking questions, and we got a bit of answers, from some NFL insiders. Adam Schefter, firstly reporting today, in recent weeks, multiple teams have been discussing whether they can trade for Steelers standout TJ Watt, who skipped the team's most recent minicamp. Pittsburgh hasn't shown any willingness to deal Watt so far, but he's unhappy with his contractual situation, and sources believe outside team interest is likely to increase given today's trade. The Steelers have been adamant that they want Watt to finish his career in Pittsburgh. So basically Schefter saying something that we've all been speculating. We kind of know. Watt upset with his current contract status. Maybe today, following that trade, it's gotten a little worse. We haven't had any confirmation as that, but the Steelers, they still are very certain in that they want to get a deal done with Watt. And it would make sense too, because why else would you bring in these guys? Why would you bring in Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Jonnu Smith, Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, all these high-profile guys, and get rid of your, best player on defense? This is an all-in year. It makes no sense to get rid of TJ. It at least made a little bit of sense to get rid of Minka to save yourself the trouble of next year when you aren't going to bring him back anyways. So why get rid of Watt, extend him, get this deal done. Watt, he's going to be 31 here during the season, currently making a little over $21 million. He's going to look to get up over that 40 mark to surpass Myles Garrett in terms of money made by edge rushers. So we'll see if a deal gets done. Things aren't in good standing right now, but maybe here, a little bit of money freed up. Steelers, they at least got another pass catcher for Aaron Rodgers. They solidified their corner position. Now focus needs to go to TJ Watt, get that done. Also, by the way, Nick Farabaugh does work for Penn Live on the Steelers. He said that he heard from a source that if there are any truth to TJ, to trade rumors for TJ, not going to quote the first word here. I'm going to let you know it starts with an F, and the second word is no. So F, no. TJ Watt isn't going anywhere, according to presumably someone in the Steelers building, or at least with a good footing on what the situation is. So focus now, get TJ done, and let's go after a Super Bowl this year. Steelers think they got a good chance now. Things go right. Very good chance that they can make some noise this offseason. Also, find out who wide receiver 2 is going to be as well, because there's tons of rumors floating around that. Tyler Boyd, former Bengals and Titans wide receiver, says he wants to join the Steelers because he's got family in town. Apparently, Mark Caboli, again, said that the Steelers were in contact with him earlier this offseason, but didn't get anything done. Also, Gabe Davis, he's a free agent out there. He visited with the team, left without a contract. They could circle back to him. Amari Cooper's a free agent. Alan Lazard, possible trade candidate. We'll find out. But Steelers today, mega trade done. Let's now focus on TJ Watt, maybe get another wide receiver threat in here, and let's make some noise this season. I am rejuvenated in the idea that this season could be either a colossal failure or a massive success, as in Steelers bringing all of these veterans, which that's another downside to the trade. Steelers now pretty old in terms of the acquisitions they've brought in, Rodgers, Hayward, all those guys. So Steelers, they increased their average age on their team by a good bit, but with age comes experience, and these guys, I think they got a lot of proof here, ready to go after that 7th Lombardi. If you haven't done so already, welcome to those of you who are in here. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications if you have not done so already. Had a massive stream this morning covering the trade as it was happening in real time. We figured out that Fitzpatrick was heading to Miami in real time. Also, the Jonnu Smith trade as well. We gained a ton of subscribers. We are now up to 455 subscribers as it sits right now. We started the day with 417, I believe was the number exactly. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Taking a quick stroll through Twitter here, the Steelers again posting welcome to Pittsburgh, Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey. So I expect some big highlight packages of Ramsey and Smith to be coming soon. Looking here, ladies and gentlemen, some big news going on in the hockey world. As a matter of fact, before I go any further here, we're just gonna cover this now. Let me pop up a banner here. There you go. We got some massive NHL news popping off right now. Excuse me. So, according to all the NHL insiders, Mitch Marner could have used him on the Pens, though, and they're in no place to sign him. Would have been funny, though, had he come to Pittsburgh and paired up with Kyle Dubas again. Anyway, Mitch Marner, who is slated to become an unrestricted free agent tomorrow, he just got traded to the Vegas Golden Knights and immediately signed an 8x12 $12 million deal, 8-year, $12 million per year deal, $96 million in total. Absolutely crazy news popping off right here. Mitch Marner going to Vegas, a sign and trade to Vegas, looking to see what the compensation going back to Toronto is. Also here, I think Brad Marchand just signed. Brad Marchand, he's heading back to Florida. The Florida Panthers bring him back the group. They brought back Sam Bennett. I just saw they brought back Aaron Ekblad on, I think, a 6-year deal. And they also just signed Brad Marchand, I think I saw, to a 6-year deal as well. Let me check real quick. Where is it? I'm not seeing anything. Thought there was something here. Maybe. The LA Kings, they have reached an extension with winger Andrei Kuzmenko. Looking here, where did I see it? I thought I saw Marchand re-signed. Oh, well, I'll find that here in a minute. Maybe it's here. Yeah, Marner to Vegas on an 8-year deal. Crazy NHL news. Speaking of NHL news, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they recently just completed the 2025 NHL draft, and they got quite a haul. 13 total selections in this year's draft, and Kyle Dubas restocking the prospect cupboard here. Going to talk about that real quick. Hang on here. Let me. There it is. There it is. Penguins make 13 picks in the 2025 NHL draft. Was live on Friday night to cover at least the first half of the first round. The entire first round in general ran super, super long. Lots of people upset at how long it went. But the Penguins did a little bit of wheeling and dealing. They made 3 picks. First off, they stayed and picked at pick 11. They took Benjamin Kindle. He is a 5'10 center from the Calgary Hitmen in the WHL. At the time, upset that the Pens did not pick Victor Eklund or Kashawn Aitchison. So I was upset at the time. Didn't really think that they needed another, undersized centerman who gets knocked off the puck easily and still needs to develop as a skater. But more, I did a little bit of research in my spare time this week, and actually, I'll give the kid a shot. Pretty good. From what I've seen, lots of offensive upside with this kid. He's very creative in the offensive zone. Does some power play work as well. Very slippery around defenders. Also, is a hound on the puck. Lots of turnovers. That's how he generates his chances. So he'll get the puck and he'll set up some great scoring chances for his team or himself. Even at 5'11", that tenacity on the puck, that is a very attractive trait of his. 99 points last year, 34 goals in the WHL. So like that pickup more and more. Also, a comparison that I have seen from him is Braden Point, center for the Tampa Bay Lightning, which Braden Point turned a hell of a career out for himself down there in Tampa, 2-time Cup winner as well. So Kindle, like it, also brought in some of his teammates. Maybe that familiarity will do some good for him. Then pick 12, Pens had back-to-back picks in the first round on Friday. They traded pick 12 to the Philadelphia Flyers. They, in exchange, got pick 22 and 31 in the first round. So falling back to 22, they took Bill Zonan. He is a winger for Rouyn-Noranda Huskies in the QMJHL, 6'2", 185 pounds, scored 28 goals and 83 points in 64 games. Great production, especially in that league, the QMJHL. From what I saw from him, dude is, I think he called himself a horse in terms of if you would to describe your style of play as a hockey player, as an animal, he said he'd be a horse. He shows it in his tape. He gets in after the puck. He gets in deep in the zone, works his way to the front of the net, gets greasy goals, all that. And he's got a hell of a shot too. So he can pot the puck from way out, or he can get in there and smack the puck home as well. Some Patrick Hornquist to him, maybe some Chris Kunitz there. I saw someone say some Wayne Simmons characteristics as well, which if he can be a prick like Wayne Simmons and produce, the more of that, the merrier. So love that pickup. Also said he looked up to PK Subban. That's what got him into hockey, watching PK Subban. So some good stuff there from Bill Zonan. Excited to see what he has in his future in his NHL career. Then after trading back, Pens, they still had a pick 31. They made another trade. They traded up to 24 with the Los Angeles Kings and took Will Horkov, a centerman from the University of Michigan. This is the pick that I wanted the Pens to make with their, first pick. Not specifically Will Horkov, but a bigger body just anywhere. Get some size on this Penguins team. That's what they got here in Horkov, 6'5". Not really, don't know too much about him as a player in terms of his style of play, but I think, after flaming out a little bit with the U.S. National Development Program, going to Michigan did him well. So hopefully he can continue to develop. And I think maybe he could be a solid bottom four guy, go out there, be a big body, wreak havoc. And that was all that happened in the first round for the Penguins. 3 picks in the first round. That was the first time that they have made 3 picks in the first round since 1984. 1984, that draft class might sound a little familiar to you because the Penguins had the first overall pick that year and took Mario Lemieux. The other 2 picks there in that round, 9th overall, they took Doug Badger, and 16th overall, they took Roger Ballinger. So Penguins, 3 first-round picks. No flashy superstar pick, but hey, I will always, be okay taking quantity over quality, because I think with quantity, you have a higher percent chance of, hitting on something, whether by design or fluke. So hopefully those three guys pan out. Kyle Dubas, why he didn't trade up in the first round, he said that they weren't, moved by trade talks to make a move up into the top 10 like they were rumored to be looking to do for like the past week and a half. Wanted them to go get Porter Martone, but Dubas said he wasn't thrilled with the offers. Talking about, what he thought about the picks, said that they were three high-quality players and that he thinks they're going to be exactly that in the NHL. Said he's excited to get to work with them. They were accruing picks and prospects, and now the Pens, they just need to make good on them. Didn't necessarily want to or expect to take three forwards, but was happy with the potential of those guys. Moving on, day 2, Pens were going to have 8 picks on day 2 of the draft, rounds 2 through 7. They ended up picking 12 more times. 13, or excuse me, they ended up picking 13 guys overall, so they ended up picking with those 8 picks plus more. They started off the day with a trade. Connor Timmins, who I thought for sure he would stay here in Pittsburgh, Toronto Maple Leaf. Dubas likes his guys. He ended up getting traded along with Isaac Beliveau, a sort of, I guess, decent prospect, kind of flamed out here. Needed a change of scenery. Timmins and Beliveau, they go to Buffalo in return for pick 39. Penguins originally heading into day 2 did not have a second-round pick. They get pick 39 in the second round, and right shot defenseman Connor Clifton, who brings some sandpaper to the defense. So like that trade. Also great on Kyle Dubas. Basically turned a 5th-round pick from last year's trade deadline into Connor Dewar, who they still have. Restricted free agent, hopefully going to sign him soon. Connor Clifton and a 2nd-round pick. With that 2nd-round pick, they took Peyton Kettles. Again, love the size of the pick. 6'6", 195-pound right shot defenseman from the WHL. Don't know much about these guys on day 2, but love Kettles. Big, mean, physical player that can skate. That is how he described himself. Love that confidence. Love that style of play if he can bring it to the NHL level. Their first pick in the 3rd round, pick 73, they took defenseman Charlie Trethway from the U.S. National Development Program, 6'1", 200. Think he's a local kid. Pick 84 in the 3rd round, they took a goaltender, Gabriel Deagle, from the Victoriaville Tigers in the QMJHL. Played in 59 games last season. Didn't have the best record or goals against average, but hey, he's 6'4", 207. Maybe they can develop him a little bit, and that is a pretty solid frame for a goalie. Made another trade, traded pick 85 to the Vegas Golden Knights, got pick 91 and pick 154 in return. By doing that, they ended up missing out on possibly drafting the son of former Penguins defenseman and coach Sergei Gonchar. His son Artem went 89th overall to the New York Rangers. Yeah. Anyway, pick 91, Pens took another defenseman, Brady Peddle, 6'3", 202 from the USHL. Pick 105 in the 4th round, they ended up taking forward Travis Hayes from the Sioux Greyhounds in the OHL. He's 5'11", 175. Pretty intriguing pick there. Sioux Greyhound, Kyle Dubas, Penguins GM, started his I guess, managerial career with the Sioux Greyhounds, or at least, his career in hockey operations with the Sioux Greyhounds. So he's always going to have a tiny bit of favoritism towards players from Sioux. Also, Travis Hayes, brother of Avery Hayes, one of the Penguins prospects down with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. Pick 130 in the 5th round, Pens took another forward, Ryan Miller, 6 foot even, 177 pounds, had 31 points in 50 games. He is going to head to the University of Denver. He is committed there. Also, this was the pick that the Penguins acquired in the Lars Eller trade, according to Penguins writer for the Trib, Seth Rohrabaugh. Round 5 again, pick 148. Pens took another defenseman, another right shot defenseman. They really loaded up on him in this draft class. From the OHL, Quinn Bouchers. I probably butchered that name. Bouchane. We're going to go with Beauchene. Quinn Beauchene, they took him. Took another Sioux Greyhound, Jordan Chiron, 6'1" forward, also from the Greyhounds in the OHL. Carter Sanderson, forward, was the 6th round pick with pick 169 from Muskegon in the USHL. And they wrapped up their draft in round 7, pick 201, taking forward Cale Dock from the BCHL. He is committed. Local ties here, committed to the Penn State Nittany Lions hockey program. Maybe there's another hopefully future Penguin that is going to commit to the Nittany Lions here soon, Gavin McKenna. So 13 picks in all. Trying to just do a quick count here. They took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 forwards, or 7 forwards, excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4 defensemen and a goalie. So make that, and 2 extra forwards. So heavy forward draft. Defense, they really needed a left shot defenseman, but they didn't get any prospects of those. They maybe gotten one, but regardless, not going to complain. Quantity over quality. This was, really at least getting a full cupboard. There might not necessarily be the best tasting ingredients in that cupboard, but still, though, a full cupboard nonetheless for Kyle Dubas. Depends, actually a pretty decent prospect system. Very much improved than what was there 2 years ago. Just looking here at some of the top names now, including guys from this draft class: Rutger McGroarty, Ville Koivunen, Tristan Brose, Ben Kindle, Bill Zonan, Melvin Fernstrom, Tanner Howe, Will Horkov, the Hayes brothers, Owen Pickering, Harrison Brunick, Emil Pianiemi, that Trethaway kid, Kettles, and 2 solid goaltending prospects right now, Miroshov and Blomqvist. Future's getting brighter in Pittsburgh. We're not all the way there yet to where we can full confidence stamp with approval that the Pens are going to be back to the playoffs here in 2-3 years, but it's a decent start. If we have a rough year this year, no worries. Just please get the first overall pick, get Gavin McKenna, and then we'll reevaluate then. Just wrapping up here, talking about the draft. The Pens did this afternoon hold an introductory press conference for those 13 draft selections. I'll be honest, did not watch it. Don't know what those prospects said. I was too busy covering the big Steelers trade. So they spoke today. Pens also announced their developmental camp rosters. Did not look in depth at those who all was invited to the prospect camp. I'm pretty sure it's all of the names that I mentioned just a minute ago, plus many more, including some undrafted signees, prospect signees. One I did see that I'm excited about right here, Oliver Tulk of the Calgary Hitmen, line mate of first-round pick Ben Kindle, also line mate of current Penguin prospect as well, who was drafted last year, Tanner Howe. So Howe, Kindle, Tulk, full line from the Calgary Hitmen in the WHL, now with the Penguins for at least prospect camp here. Can't be too upset with that. Aside from the prospects talking, Kyle Dubas, he also spoke today again on what the Penguins are going to be doing here over the couple of days with free agency beginning tomorrow. He said, as to who the Penguins are targeting, said that he has a few players in mind, but it is going to be in the 2 to 3 year range as in terms of the max length of contracts he is going to hand out. So the Penguins not going to go big game spending yet. They're in no position to do so in the middle of a rebuild. 2 3-year deals max, probably some, 1 year pickups as well, kind of like what they did last offseason, and then they flipped them at the deadline for a pretty penny. So, going to be another pretty uneventful free agency cycle for the Penguins here. They're not going to go over or after any big fish. Talking about the two some restricted free agents that the Penguins currently have, Dubas said that Philip Tomasino and Connor Dewar, they're in conversations with them on getting a deal done here before, they can start hearing offers from other teams. Pens, again, they are restricted free agents, so the Penguins, they can, if those guys do get offered a contract from another team, the Penguins can match it or get draft pick compensation in return. So Tomasino and Dewar think those deals are going to get done. Vasily Ponomarev, who is on his way to the KHL, he will also get tendered, though he's as good as gone. Rest of the RFAs or UFAs that the Penguins have, they're going to test the market and most likely not return. Talking about some trade rumors as related specifically to Brian Rust, Erik Karlsson, and Rickard Rakell. Dubas said that the Pens, they aren't going to, just get rid of these guys here. I'm trying to find the exact quote that I saw here. Right here. No, where was it? Anyway, Dubas basically said they're listening to offers on Karlsson, Rakell, and Rust, but they haven't been blown away from anything yet. I think Erik Karlsson, in light of recent signings in the NHL, his stock is going to go up, so he's probably as good as gone, in my opinion. Anyways, didn't really talk too much on Rakell, I don't think, but related to Rust specifically, Dubas said something that gives me hope that he is going to stay, because I don't want to get rid of Brian Rust. I get you could probably get a whole lot from him, but bringing in these young kids, you're going to need guys who have been there, done that, won that in the league to show them the ropes. Rust is the type of guy that you want to keep around. Dubas said he understands how important he is to the organization and to the city. He has a very high price on him, so it's going to take a lot for the Penguins to accept a trade offer for Rust. That is fantastic to hear, in my opinion. And the last thing on Rust, he said, we'll continue, here's a quote, we'll continue to be open for business, but the price will be very high. So glad to hear that on Rust. And the last thing he said, people have been talking how this is probably going to be Evgeny Malkin's last year as a Pittsburgh Penguin, whether he will retire, sign somewhere else in the NHL, or go play over in Russia. Dubas said that he will meet with Malkin and his agent during the Olympic break, I think in February next year, to decide what they will do moving forward, whether that is sign Gino or whether they're going to let him go. So door not completely shut, like what Josh Yohe and others were heavily implying. So door is not completely shut on Malkin yet. They're going to talk with him, Dubas, Malkin, his agent. I'm sure others will be involved. They will discuss their future during the Olympic break. It's not going to be something that they will make a decision on too soon. Other than that, that mainly wraps up what has happened over the weekend for the Penguins. There were some other news, rumors, I will say, about the Pens here, just trying to, maybe take a quick look for him here. I got my stuff all out of order here. Talking about the Penguins here. Also, the big trade this morning threw a bunch of stuff out of whack. Some other stuff here on the Pens. Columbus Blue Jackets, they're reportedly interested in Brian Rust as well, so they would need to offer a lot. I do think they got some good young guys, so that wouldn't be the worst place for Rust to get traded to. Also, the Penguins, they could trade Noel Acciari. Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest bit if he ends up getting moved, especially with the Pens most likely going to bring in more young guys. And Erik Karlsson, his stock is going up for teams who need high-profile right-shot defensemen. Evan Bouchard of the Oilers just re-signed a big deal. Re-signed on a big deal with the Oilers. Aaron Ekblad is staying in Florida. One place where Karlsson could go, well, could have gone probably because they just signed Mitch Marner to a big deal. One place Erik Karlsson could have gone was to Vegas because they lost their captain, Alexander Pietrangelo, their assistant captain, Alex Pietrangelo, for the year with some major surgeries. So that will be a fun. It'll be fun tomorrow. I will be live tomorrow beginning at noon to cover some of the breaking NHL signings that come in. Hopefully the Penguins, they get some good young guys there under 2 to 3 year contracts. Give us at least a little bit of excitement for this upcoming season, even though we know that it's most likely probably going to suck. So can't wait for tomorrow. We will reevaluate then everything that has gone on. Going to take another quick stroll here through Twitter before we talk some Pittsburgh Pirates baseball. The Bucks here, they're about to start a series with the St. Louis Cardinals starting here at 6:40. Game one of that series. I think it's Andrew Heaney on the bump for the Bucks. So just to recap all the deals that have gone down since I've been live. Brad Marchand and Aaron Ekblad have re-signed down in Florida. Mitch Marner is now a Vegas Golden Knight as a part of a sign and trade. And Evan Bouchard, defenseman for the Oilers, is now going to make $10.5 million down there. Or up there, I should say. Okay, going to see if anything else is going on here. Not seeing too much. Some data on Jonnu Smith's new Steelers tight end. Has had nearly 900 snaps from the slot in his career, 344 outside. So he does have some versatility as a receiver, more than what I originally thought. So kind of like having another Pat Freiermuth out there as a receiving tight end. Pretty encouraging for the Arthur Smith offense. Penguins did officially just give out or put out, I would say, a post on what they are doing with their restricted free agents. So they are negotiating with Connor Dewar and Philip Tomasino, even though they did not receive qualifying offers. They have extended a qualifying offer to Vasily Ponomarev in case, he decides to have a change of heart of going over to the KHL. But players who did not receive qualifying offers and will become unrestricted free agents. Ravis Ansons, Emil Bemstrom, Taylor Gauthier, and P.O. Joseph. P.O. going on to a new place once again. Don't worry, he'll get traded back to the Pens eventually. Also, you got another signing here. Ivan Provorov, defenseman for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He is going to stay in Columbus on a 7-year, $8.5 AAV million deal. News is popping off left and right today. What a Monday. What a Monday. All right, going to move back in to the Pittsburgh sports world here for a second. Let's talk some Pittsburgh Pirates baseball, and what a week. What a weekend, I will say, for the Bucks. Absolutely insane. They swept the New York Mets in probably the most dominating fashion that you will see across the MLB this year. I'm almost speechless out of just pride for once this year on what the Bucks did. Game one, I'll be honest, only was like half paying attention to it because the NHL draft was going on. But the Bucks, Mitch Keller was on the bump, hadn't won since March 28th, his first start of the season. Also hadn't won a game in PNC Park since July 8th of 2024. You want to know who that win was against? Yeah, the New York Mets. And the Bucks ended up finally getting Mitch a win at PNC Park. The Bucks routed the Mets 9-1. Hitting, also the Mets imploding on themselves a little bit. That really did them in. The Bucks had a 4-run second inning. Brian Reynolds, a 3-run homer. Alexander Canario was 2 for 4. Mitch Keller, much deserved win for all he's been through over the past calendar year, especially so far this season. So Bucks ended up winning game 1 of that series, 9-1. Moving into game 2, first off, there was a weird situation going on across the bridge. There was lots of smoke coming out of a, I guess, vent stack of one of the buildings in downtown Pittsburgh. Turns out there was a fire in a kitchen there. And that didn't, pause play, but it was really odory, the smoke of that over towards the building. Maybe that was them saying, hey, the Bucks, they're about to cook some white smoke there. Anyways, the Mets, they got out to a 1-0 lead, but then after a rain delay, the Bucks came back out of that rain delay, poured it on. O'Neal Cruz singled, stole second, and then scored on another single behind him. Bucks made it 3-1. Bucks made it 2-1. Ke'Bryan Hayes knocked in Joey Bart. Adam Frazier had a sac fly. The Mets ended up getting back into it a little bit, 3-2, and then the Bucks pulled away again, 4-2. I believe that was Nick Gonzalez brought home Ke'Bryan Hayes. Or no, it was the other way around. Ke'Bryan Hayes brought home Nick Gonzalez. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa grounded into a fielder's choice, made it 5-2. Andrew McCutchen, 2-run single, 7-2. And then another 2 runs came across on a Brian Reynolds double. 9-2 was the final in that one. Moving into game 3, absolute pumping by the Bucks the entire ball game. Made it 2-0. Ke'Bryan Hayes with a 2-run, 2-out single to center, which he has turned it on. Might be the rumors of him getting traded around him. Maybe he's trying to play a little bit better to get a contending team to bid highly for his services. So, Key swinging a hot bat made it 2-0. O'Neal Cruz, a laser shot over the right field wall, 4-0. Tommy Pham did the same. Didn't hit it as hard or as far as O'Neal Cruz, but hit another home run to right field as well, 5-0. Andrew McCutchen, 6-0 was a sacrifice fly. Mets, woohoo, got a compensatory run. Their catcher, Torrens, hit a solo home run. Brian Reynolds with dad power, a solo home run to center field, which that got out of here in a hurry as well. 109 miles an hour off the bat. 7-1. Tommy Pham singled home Ke'Bryan Hayes, made it 8-1. And O'Neal Cruz, another 2-run homer, made it 10-1. That was the final score. The Bucks beating the Mets 10-1. Insane series from start to finish for these Bucks. First off, for as crappy as they are, as pain-staking, mind-hurting, horrid that they've been all season long, for one series, they gave us a little bit of a glimmer of what this team could be and the capabilities they have if they were to actually get ownership and management that cares. They, with the lowest payroll in baseball, beat the highest active payroll in baseball, and they beat them bad. To basically encapsulate the series in one situation, Genesis Cabrera, which he's had a good start to his Pirate career, was recently DFA'd. The Bucks picked him up. He struck out Juan Soto, who got a mega 15-year, $765 million deal. And the Mets DFA'd Cabrera earlier this year. So a guy who the Mets DFA'd ended up striking out their most highest paid, most valuable player. That's how that series went for the Bucs. It was a complete and total opposite of what they did all year long. They first off, sorry, I missed 2 runs here. They made it 11 and then 12-1 because they brought in a position player. So the Bucs ended up winning 12-1, but complete total opposite of what we've seen from this team all year. They swept an opponent. They gave their starting pitching runs report. Mitch Keller won a game. Brian Reynolds, prime dad strength after a slow start to the season. O'Neal Cruz broke out of his slump with 2 home runs. Andrew McCutchen remains ageless. And Tommy Pham and Key Brian Hayes, they are getting multi-hit games and they're hitting for power, barreling up the ball. What a weekend for the Bucs. Damn good showing. That's all I can say. I just, for once, have proud in this team. For once, I have pride in this team. It was they outscored them 30-4 in this 3-game sweep. That was the third time in franchise history that the Pirates won every game of a series by at least 7 runs. The last time going back to 1935. And also, I couldn't find I can't remember the exact stat, but it was the first time since 1975 that I think a run differential in a series exceeded 26 runs or something like that. So pretty damn good series for the Bucs. Can they continue it tonight? We will see. Like I said, first pitch for Bucs and Birds. That's going to start here in a little over 40 minutes. Spencer Horwitz batting leadoff tonight and playing at first base. Andrew McCutchen DH. Brian Reynolds in right. Nick Gonzalez in left. O'Neal Cruz batting 5th in center field. Key Brian Hayes and Tommy Pham back-to-back 6th and 7th. Joey Bart catches tonight batting 8th. And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa batting in the 9-hole per usual at shortstop. Andrew Heaney on the bump. That lineup will oppose Eric Fetty tonight for the Cardinals. The probables for the rest of the series: Paul Skeens will pitch tomorrow night against Andre Palante, and Sonny Gray will pitch against Mitch Keller on Wednesday. So some exciting baseball being played by the Bucs. Hopefully they carry on with that tonight. Going to get into some more Pittsburgh sports news here in a second. Going to take another quick stroll here through Twitter. Just an insane day filled with news left and right. I gotta say, one of the craziest Mondays that I've ever been a part of on this channel was live for almost 2 hours. And the news just keeps on coming. Some breaking NHL news left and right. Now, hopefully, this crazy day will end with the Bucs getting a victory here soon. Just gotta flip the TV channel here to the Bucs game. All right, we are going to get into the more Pittsburgh news segment of the program right now. Gonna quickly brisk through some loose news stories related to our Pittsburgh sports teams. Back to football for a second. This happened just over an hour ago. George Pickens, former Steelers wide receiver, he just sounded off on the trade of Minkah Fitzpatrick going to the Miami Dolphins, saying, quote, "Super happy for you, broski. Back to beautiful places in life, LOL." So clearly throwing a shot at the Steelers, hyping up Minkah Fitzpatrick. Not sure if Minkah and George were on the, goodest of terms. I'm not saying that they, didn't like each other. It's just I wouldn't pick those two guys to necessarily be the best of buds when they were both in Pittsburgh. I mean, Minkah Fitzpatrick, ultimate professional, hard worker, and Pickens pretty much the exact opposite of that. So GP sounding off, wishing Minka Fitzpatrick good luck, throwing shade at the Steelers as well. This came across on Friday. Pittsburgh Steelers legendary quarterback Ben Roethlisberger on his podcast, Not Just Football and with Ben, said that he would take Aaron Rodgers over Patrick Mahomes if both were at the pinnacle of their careers. Quote exactly here, I would take Aaron in his prime over Patrick now. Pat will go down as another arguable GOAT. I think Aaron in his prime is better. Not sure if that's Ben, just hyping up the, I'm sure at least decent friend Aaron Rodgers and a current Steelers quarterback. But I don't know. I gotta agree, I guess. It's close. It's close. But Ben, he clearly, picked the guy that he played against for many years there. And also, I'm going to trust Seven in his opinions on football over a ton of other people. So, respect that from Ben. Steelers defensive lineman Daniel Ekuale, only been here for, a hot minute, was a off-season pickup, one of their minor ones. Congratulations to him. He just got engaged. And also a bit of heartbreak for Steelers fans who year after year, or at least, semi-annually, make the trek to St. Vincent College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania for Steelers training camp, because one of the hot spots near St. Vincent is allegedly closing up. Josh Roundtree, does a little bit of work on the Steelers, reporting on Friday that popular Steelers training camp hangout Dino's Sports Lounge in Greensburg is closing up shop for good. So I always hear stories, listening to various podcasts and other news outlets, that Dino's is a place where you'll see a lot of Steelers players and coaches and staff hang out. Fans can also, go there, hang out with players. Also, that's the place where Jay Leno fell down a hill and jacked himself up pretty good. So that's a legendary place. Hopefully it closing up for good turns out to be false in the end. But yeah, apparently they're going to close up shop. Moving back into the baseball world here for a second. Going to go on a grim note here for a second. This news came down just as Saturday's ball game between the Mets and Pirates got on their way. We lost Dave Parker, ladies and gentlemen. The Bucs legend, right fielder, World Series champion. He passed away Saturday. The Bucs announced themselves. Spent 11 years as a Pirate, won 2 batting titles, an MVP, and a World Series. 74 years old. That's how old Parker was. And main reason why it sucks for him is because he was just about to get inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. He said back when, the class of 2025 was announced, he said that he's been holding in his speech for 15 years. And unfortunately, the Cobra will never get to give that speech for all of us to listen to. So on behalf of the Steel City Sports Report, rest in peace, Dave Parker. Condolences to his friends, families, teammates, and other loved ones. Staying here with the Pittsburgh Pirates, trade rumors, they are going wild right now around the team, aside, even with them just beating the ever-living hell out of the Mets this weekend. Trade rumors left and right. We've talked on here before. The Chicago Cubs, they are engaged in serious trade conversations with the Pirates for Mitch Keller and for David Bednar, apparently, as well. All potential Bucks who could be on their way out at the right price. Third baseman Ke'Bryan Hayes, he is generating interest from the Detroit Tigers, New York Yankees, and the Cubs as well. So could be seeing some long I wouldn't say legendary Pirates, but guys who have been here for a while. They could be on their way out. Keller, Bednar, Hayes. If they do go to the Cubs, those have been the names. That's been the team that's been mentioned the most in these rumors. Bucks, they got to get a bat back some way, somehow. Preferably a major league bat and or a bat of a minor league guy who is like right there about to get called up to the MLB. I think I heard Pittsburgh native Ian Happ, who's tormented the Bucks throughout his career, be mentioned, coming back in a trade. Also, there's good prospects there. Kevin Alcantara, an outfielder there. Owen Casey as well. Matt Shaw, their third baseman, who's currently their starter at third. James Triantos as well. So if they do end up making a deal with the Cubs, not going to like it because you're sending some of your, long-term players who have been here for a while who will probably play better there. You're sending those guys to a division rival. But if you can get a top, one or two top 5 prospects and or a major league bat in a deal, I think you pull the trigger on it. Everybody's on the table now, apparently. Ken Rosenthal, NHL or MLB insider, said it. Only Pirate untouchable players are Paul Skeens, Andrew McCutchen, and O'Neill Cruz. Everyone else on the table. So the right deal comes across. I hate that it's Ben Cherington doing the deal, but got to change something up here because the Bucks, even though they just smoked one of the highest paid teams in baseball, they're still deep in last place for a reason. Moving on here to some players who could be coming back to the team in terms of, vice versa to guys who could be going away. Two, I'm trying to think of the word here. Why am I blanking? 2 rehab assignments. There it is. Have begun for Pirate pitchers. Johan Oviedo, who has been on the shelf for a long time now, missed all of last year with Tommy John surgery. He today got assigned to the Florida Coast League Pirates on a rehab assignment. Also going on a rehab assignment this from Friday, Colin Horman. He is heading down to Bradenton, Florida to begin his trek back to the big league as well. Speaking of Bradenton, 2 Buccos from down in single A ball, they are heading to the All-Star Futures game. Of course, no surprise. One of them, Connor Griffin, been on an absolute tear down in single A, started in Bradenton, got called up to the Greensboro Grasshoppers, will hopefully get a call to Double A Altoona here soon. And another one who is another Buck prospect who has been on a tear this year as well. I think he's up over 20 home runs. Outfielder Esmerlin Valdez. He too was in Greensboro, but today, congratulations, Valdez. He got promoted to Double A Altoona. Hopefully, we get to see Griffin and Valdez at Double A soon. Especially Griffin. Fast track that kid to the big leagues as soon as possible. Last couple of things here, moving back into hockey, talking more Pittsburgh sports news there. On Friday, George LaRocque, former Penguins tough guy, put out a post saying that he heard Sidney Crosby could get traded. Absolutely false. Sid, for years now in various different interviews, has said he doesn't want to go anywhere. Pat Brisson, his agent, on Friday allegedly called them baseless rumors. In addition to that, we got pretty close to, firsthand confirmation that Sid isn't going anywhere from one of his best buds, Nathan McKinnon on Instagram. McKinnon, forward star for the Colorado Avalanche, commented on a Spit and Chicklets post about that on Instagram, saying not true or fake news, I think was his exact comment there. So from damn near the horse's mouth itself, Nathan McKinnon saying Sid isn't going anywhere. Last thing here on the Bucs today, their coaching staff is now finally completely filled out. There was word on Friday night after the first round of the NHL draft from Kyle Dubas that one more trade that one more hiring to the coaching staff was to come. Pretty much a guy who is going to oversee the defense and run the penalty kill. That hire was made today. This was actually going to be probably a bigger topic during today's episode. Instead, we got big news that Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith are Steelers, but Mike Stothers, I have no idea whether I'm pronouncing his last name correctly or not. He got hired today. He will presumably run the defense and the penalty kill. He'll join Dan Muse's staff. The staff for the Penguins now completely filled out. Dan Muse as head coach. Assistants, Todd Nelson, Mike Stothers, Rich Clune, and Nick Bonino. Andy Chiodo remains as the goalie coach, and the video coach is Troy Paquette. Lots of youth there on that bench. But, Stothers, which, by the way, Stothers, cancer survivor as well. God bless him. He's been a coach in the AHL and NHL for the Anaheim Ducks. He also, I think, is 63 years old. So I think he's now the oldest coach on that bench. So brings some veteran guidance, I would say, to a very young coaching staff, especially at head coach and Dan Muse. Welcome to Pittsburgh, Mike Stothers. Also, this entire coaching staff from top to bottom, minus Nick Bonino, they all have backgrounds in developing young players, whether it be in the U.S. National Development Program, the USHL, one of the three, Canadian junior leagues, or in the AHL. So developmental coaching staff, pretty youthful. Will be exciting to see them get their hands on the prospects that Kyle Dubas is continuing to bring in. So I think that's going to do it here today. Talked a lot here today. I think I've now been on stream for pushing 4 hours today, going back to the, breaking news earlier today. Hell of a day. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you to every single person who subscribed here today. We are up to 455 subscribers. Couldn't imagine that I'd have such a large audience this morning for the big Steelers Dolphins trade, but I appreciate it. Looking ahead again to tomorrow, I will be live for a couple of hours beginning at noon. That is when free agency officially begins in the NHL. I'll break down any and all moves, whether they're related to the Penguins or not, that come in for a couple of hours. Just a couple of notes here that I'm seeing from someone on X heading into tomorrow. Brian Rust, even though he's probably not going to go anywhere, he's got a high price tag on him. His no movement clause expires tomorrow, and that will increase teams coming into will increase the number of teams calling up Kyle Dubas. Erik Karlsson, he is going to be highly valuable. He will be paid a $5 million bonus, I found out today, by the Pens tomorrow. So that will entice teams more to get the Penguins on the phone and complete a trade for Karlsson. Also, right-handed defenseman in high demand right now. Karlsson definitely fits that bill. And I think that's pretty much all we need to know for the Pens heading into tomorrow. So it's going to be a fun ride tomorrow. It was a hell of a ride today. Thank you all for joining me. Just going to do one last quick scroll here through X, see if there's anything new. Noah Hiles, Pirates beat writer for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Tonight's ball game between the Cards and Bucks, it will start in a delay, so it's not going to start here in 20 minutes like we all expected. The Steelers, they continue their onslaught of posts about Jalen Ramsey, and Jonnu Smith just posting a stat graphic of Jalen Ramsey. 534 career tackles, 108 pass defenses, 24 interceptions, which is fourth most among active players, and he is a 7-time Pro Bowler, a first-team All-Pro in 2017, 2020, and 2021. Hell of a get by the Bucks here today. Or hell of an addition by the Steelers here today. Same with Jonnu Smith. Sorry, I was reading something. Had a brain cramp there for a second. Talked a lot today. I appreciate you all joining me here today. So thank you. That's going to do it today. I'm going to go rest up my voice before talking a whole bunch more tomorrow. Thank you, whether you just joined for this evening or whether you were there this morning for that mega stream on the big breaking news, the big trade. I appreciate you all for joining me. For the last time, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, like and share this live stream. Comment on it after the fact as well. Follow me on X and Instagram as well at SteelCitySR. Would appreciate it if you give me a follow on those social media profiles. Get those numbers up as well. And that's going to do it today. Going to go watch the Bucks. Hopefully they continue their success. Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith are Steelers, minus, the bit of heart that's broken in me that Minka Fitzpatrick is gone. But hey, football's a business. They got 2 good players. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they're about to hopefully sign some good free agents tomorrow after a big draft for them. And that's going to do it. More news to come tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I will be live during at noon tomorrow. We'll also break down any new news related, not hockey related. We'll break those down on the stream tomorrow. And yeah, that'll do it. See you guys back here tomorrow. I will create the live stream here in a little bit for tomorrow's free agency coverage. Until then, come back tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for subscribing. Peace.